Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. Please welcome Nathe from the Third Wish, who's back in the house. We're getting regular with this now, which is
Hi,
good. I
Sharon.
enjoy it. And
Likewise.
how are you? How are you doing?
I am very good, very happy about 2025. I was saying before the show started, like I felt we're just tiptoeing into 2025. We haven't already gone
And I
full on
immediately
with
had Tiny
2025.
Tim's voice in my head singing Tiptoe Through the Tulips. I'm aging myself. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so I haven't done mine yet. I'm still trying to figure out how to go about it. And so I think I'm
Well,
just gonna sit down and work on a list of questions and then just see what happens
yeah.
and just
The
draw
way,
cards on it. So
the way that I do my predictions is I take kind of a blank page of paper and just I write down kind of all information I kind of get, and then I get to the cards to answer some of those comments or
interesting.
see. Yeah,
Okay.
so I just start with like whatever I'm getting, or names or countries, and then
Right.
I use the cards to kind of get to the bottom of it if I can. Yeah,
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, because I know some people who, they use their crystal ball
crystal
to
ball. Yeah,
scry. And so I haven't quite got the hang of that yet. It's like I look at it and I'm not seeing anything yet, but a reflection of
I'm
whatever
not.
it's sitting on. And I figured, okay, I
I'm
just gotta loosen up a little bit. It'll come. So
yeah.
uh
I'm better
glad to
at
know.
crying with, I don't do the crystal ball. I would do a bowl with water in there or liquid, and then I
I've thought
just
about
like
doing that.
fuck,
So
yeah, that works better for me. And then with some sort of a spoon or small fork, I kind of move things, and then things starts to shift and appear. It's kind of fascinating.
oh, awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna have to try that. I know about it because that's what Nostradamus used to do, was
Oh,
to
I didn't
read
know that.
both. He had a
Bowl,
special,
yeah.
according to history, he had a special black bowl that he would fill up
Oh,
with water,
I
and then
didn't
he would
know.
sit and stare down into it, and he would see like movie scenes, I guess, what we would call movie scenes.
Oh,
And he would get
I
these predictions. And so I've always thought, oh, that's
oh.
kind of cool. I'm gonna have to try that. I just haven't
We
gotten
can do
around to
that.
it yet.
Yeah, next
We'll have
time.
to do that one time and get us some
Yeah, we
water and then
can water and then read what we see.
see
Yeah,
what happens.
it.
Maybe we can do that on a recorded show. That way we can kind of take our time and pause
Yeah,
if we
it's
do it.
not. Yeah.
Because it's not gonna happen instantly. That much I know. So well, a
And
big
get.
hello. We've already got 32 people in the room.
My
Uh,
goodness.
Moonstone Girl, Suvi, Mary, Sharon, um, Zebra or Zebra, depending on how you want to pronounce it, um, and Dawn and Rose and Joy. They're all here already. So, hello and welcome, and thank you for spending some time with us. So, Nate and I are going to talk about some 2025 predictions. He's done his. I haven't done mine yet. And and so and then yeah, we'll just see what happens from there. We're
Yeah.
flying by the seat of our pants today. And I don't know if you noticed on the thumbnail I created, it when I did the picture, it's through an app where you can take a picture and it'll change it into different poses. And it kept giving you hair, a full head of hair.
Oh,
And I was like, oh, I kind of like Nate with hair.
wow.
It would give me one where you didn't have any
Wow.
hair on top. It was giving. So go back and look at the
On the
thumbnail
side,
and you'll
I
see
have to
you
look.
got
I
a full
didn't
head of
notice
hair.
that. Wow. That's
And
pretty cheap if I need one day to look into some sort of.
there you go.
Yeah.
It's a free app. It's a free app. I downloaded it on my computer, and you just plug in a
Hmm.
picture, and it'll like AI scan, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
it'll create all these different um, pictures for you.
Icons. Yeah,
Sometimes
I
you look
like that.
younger, sometimes you look
As you
older.
look older.
Invariably, you look skinnier or more buff, and it's like, okay, I like this one, and look like Mr. Bodybuilder, and It'll give you long hair if you have short, or short hair if you have long. I mean, it'll really.
You basically can be whoever you want to be. Yeah.
I did one for Colleen, the cool crone. Uh,
Hmm.
Probably 6 months ago. I did one of her pictures, and it gave me a bunch. And one of them is like from the waist up, and her hair is this long, silky black hair,
Oh.
which she already has long, dark hair, but
Oh,
it's not
yeah.
that long. And but she's about 30, 40 years younger than she actually is right now.
Right.
And it's in
Oh.
this red satin movie star dress, and it's like a pose, like you would see a movie star pose on the red carpet. And so I sent it to her and I said, "Hey, this one printed out this picture for you." She loves it. She's used it a couple of times on other stuff. I
Oh,
said,
yeah.
"Oh, you got the movie star vibes going today." I
It
did the
just
same
makes
for
us feel
Peanuts.
good. Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. The first time I ever did an app like that was off of Facebook years ago. And it was, take a selfie and put it in, and it will age you like 40 years or something, let you know what you'll look like in the future. And I
Mm.
thought, okay, that's kind of interesting. So I did it. Oh my God, I had my great grandmother looking back at me. I was blown away. I was like, holy crap, that looks like my mama. I mean, every inch of it looked like my great
Wow.
grandmother. And I was like, holy moly, man, how did they do that? And
My God.
I
Yeah.
think I've got the picture saved somewhere, but I don't know. I have to look for it because I don't look like that now. And
It's
thank God, I'm looking a little bit younger. Um, but so, what are some of your predictions that
oh, yeah.
came up that
Yeah,
you
I
want to
can.
talk about?
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, like you said, the full-on video, I think it's about 40 minutes, is on my channel, and I cover the whole world, the US and the
And
world.
Nate's channel and everything is listed in the description
Ye-
box below,
Thank you
so
for
you can
doing that.
go
Yeah.
click and
Uh,
subscribe. It's free. So,
yeah. Um, I mean, kind of a high level, or maybe some snippets, like um, aside from what kind of everyone expects, more like some of the golden nuggets, so to speak. I do expect Trump to go under surgery in 2025, something pretty severe. And my prediction
yeah,
is that Vance will be president for a short period of time. So that's one that I feel like there's a surgery and they can't, like, they're not going to be able to do it under the radar. It's just too severe.
it's going to be too
And
severe. Yeah.
yeah, and so will be Vance will be
But
president.
during
Yeah.
Trump's first term, he had to have emergency gallbladder surgery or something like that,
Mm,
or pass a kidney stone or something. And he refused to let them give, according to what everybody said, he refused to let them give him anesthesia because he didn't want to let Pence be
yeah.
president for the hour or
Yeah.
so that it would take for the surgery. And I'm like, how, how? All I could
Well,
think
that's
of at the
just
time was, how, what's the word I'm looking for? Insecure you are that you're not willing to
it's
let your second in command
take over. Well,
while you're undergoing surgery.
yeah,
So,
I know.
um, hi, Steve.
But they
Hi,
will have no
Sylvia. Hi,
choice.
Rose. Hi,
Yeah.
Deborah. And so Deborah
Yeah.
says, "It's nice to meet you, mate, Nate." Um, Deborah's great. I
Thank
did.
you.
She teaches a tarot class,
Mm.
uh, and she asked me to come be the guinea pig
Oh,
yesterday. So I went and spent like, I don't know, we were what, an hour and a half or so, I guess. I had so much fun. Oh my God. it was great, and there was 3 or 4 people, students that she had that were able to make it, who were just doing like cold readings on me, and
Oh,
and every one of them was hitting things. They weren't all getting the same messages, but they were all hitting on
mm-hmm.
something that I was like,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, that's you're pretty close there. So it was like, yeah, this is great. So it was a lot of fun.
great. Well, the
Yeah, Steve, that's what I thought. Steve says he's a liar. He's a baby.
it would not go without anesthesia. No, no.
No, he just refuses to
I mean,
sign anything that he can't eat afterwards. So, um,
no. Remember when he had COVID, the whole drama and
oh my
circus?
God, that was the
Yeah,
man could barely stand up, and yet he had to do his big production thing, coming out on the
mm,
walking up the outside flight of stairs to stand on the balcony of the White
yes,
House. It's like, are you out of your freaking mind, man? You're going to put yourself permanently in the hospital at this point, or in the morgue if you're not careful.
I know.
And
It was pretty bad when he had it. It was pretty bad.
yeah, from what I understand, they literally gave him the works. Everything, anything that they thought would
They
work,
could.
he got shot up with it, and it tended to heal him fairly quickly, all while running around telling people it's a hoax, it's not real. He's like,
I
yeah,
know.
you almost died from it, but it's a hoax, you know.
I know.
So that is one thing I have gotten in several readings I've done in the last, I guess, month, is that there's another pandemic coming,
Oh, yes.
and it's
I
going to be
did
worse.
mention that.
It's going to be worse than COVID. And
Well, the way that I sorry to cut you. Sure, go ahead.
no, no, that's all I
Mm,
got for it. It's just that there was another one coming, and it was going to be
yes,
worse. More people were going to die. And now that he's going to be in charge, I see why they were telling me more people are going to die.
yeah, I did mention that in my prediction as
Oh,
well.
did
In
you?
the
See, I
I
haven't
did.
watched the video yet. So,
See, I know you're spot on. I did mention that. The only additional information is that I feel that this one will have some sort of an impact on food. Could be passed, certain food be passing on, the disease or whatever it is. And so I feel like, I mean, one of the things that I mentioned is, stocking up on some groceries, because there I really feel there will be restrictions. I don't know if this is related to the current bird flu, but if the current bird flu could be exactly this kind of problem where it impacts the meat, it impacts eggs and everything. And so there seems to be
and
something going on. Yeah.
with all of the carrying on about the price of eggs, and that's why so many people voted for him, because eggs were so
Yes.
expensive. It's like,
Yes.
really, but at the same time, you were hearing the press, legacy media, as they now call them, not mainstream, because they're not really mainstream anymore. But while they were reporting on all this crap that everybody's all upset because of blah 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 with the price of eggs and everything, not
Yes.
once did any of them mention that during the past year, there's been a really virulent strain
Yes.
of bird flu going around that has decimated chicken farms.
It
Their
has.
chicken farmers have lost like 3/4 or more of their crops of new chicks coming in, because they get
Yep.
new chicks get shipped to them live. I mean, which is really kind of wild to watch. They put them in these little boxes and ship them off. Uh, and but this bird flu that's going around has really, really affected the amount of chickens that are there. That's why the price of
Yes.
chicken has gone up so
On
high.
up.
And that with the eggs and stuff, a
Mm,
lot of eggs were no good,
mhm.
and they had to chunk them, and
Yeah.
so it's like, okay, Y'all worry about the
Yeah,
price of eggs, but you don't want to look into why the price of
the
eggs
root
was so high.
cause of it. And you know what,
Yeah.
Cherry? It's the same with coffee. Have you noticed that coffee has increased a lot? This has to
Oh,
deal with
God,
weather
yes.
and global warming and problems with, mostly Central and South America, where, they
Well, yeah.
couldn't grow the same amount. And so that has nothing to do with politics. This is weather or health
Right.
related, or yeah. And so not everyone understands that, and you certainly can't vote based on that.
Well, it helps if you kind of look up your facts first before you go place your vote on
Yes.
somebody. Um, I mean, even though, granted, the candidates on the left tend to be far more truthful than the
Hmm.
candidates on the right, I still, when I get a couple of them that start saying it's this, one thing I go look it up and go find out. Okay, what do they really say? What's really going on here? And so I mean, you get what you vote
Hmm.
for. I mean,
I
you
know.
get your hi Daniel and hi Mousy. Hi, Dora. I'm trying to catch people as they're coming in here. Hi, Sookie. And so, yeah, I mean, that was the first thing I saw was, and I've gotten that several times in readings for the past month, was
Yeah,
another pandemic is
they
coming.
make
And it may be the bird flu because they're talking about
or
it been
something
mutating.
else. Yeah,
That they thinking
but
it's right on the edge of mutating and becoming airborne, and that it will be far worse than COVID was. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's not good.
no. And I expect, unfortunately, some restrictions. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to read, making sure I don't miss any questions, even though I said wait till we ask for them. But um, I figure some put them in so they don't forget. And but yeah, Monica, that's who had said something about her dad used to base the economy on the price of coffee.
yeah.
I mean, of course, I
I
grew
mean,
up down here. Everybody drinks coffee morning, noon, and night. My mother drank coffee around the clock. It's like I used to too, but then it started affecting my sleep, and I had to give it up at nighttime unless I needed to stay awake.
I
But
know. And I see a comment here from Daniel, the norovirus going around. True.
yeah, the norovirus, that's another
Virus.
one that's kind of scary.
Yeah,
So it's like,
yeah.
yikes. It's it's all getting scary out there. I mean, and what worries me even more is the fact that we got Cheeto Head in office, and
I know.
what's he going to do? He's just going to make it worse. I mean, he's
Well,
not going to
maybe
follow through. I keep waiting any day now for him to state that he's disbanded the pandemic office of whatever it is they call it
yeah,
in the government that Obama had built up. That's why COVID hit us so hard because
yeah.
Obama had all these people and all this stuff in place and ready to go because they dealt with Ebola and got it right at
All
the beginning
right.
to where only a
Yes.
couple of people got it, and then it was knocked out. And
Yeah.
and because he had shut all of that down and dismissed all those experts, there was nobody there to do anything.
No.
And then he wanted to bitch and complain that nobody could tell him anything. Well, yeah, you fired them all. Dodo, what do you expect? So, I mean,
Yeah.
I have a cousin whose husband got it, got COVID really, really bad. He was in
Hmm.
the hospital for months on an intubator. And it's been almost, 2 years now. And he's permanently disabled. He'll
Oh,
always have long COVID. And he still has to walk around with an oxygen tank strapped to his leg um, because it destroyed his lungs. And this was a man in his late 40s, early 50s,
Yep.
in relatively good health, relatively good shape. You know, he didn't have a real strenuous physical job. He worked in an office, but he can't even do that anymore. He just get up, walk across the room at home. It wipes him out. And
It's terrible.
and in the beginning, when he first got sick, she actually pulled him out of the hospital he was first in to move him to another hospital that would give patients that horse serum crap that they were trying to pass off as being
Wow.
what's going to do the trick. And everything I've read on that since is that people who took that stuff, that's what made it worse for them.
Oh,
And so it's like all because of a political belief, you wound up ruining the rest of your life. You're disabled now for the rest of your life because you chose to believe a charlatan who was lying to you as opposed to the experts who had spent most of their adult lives studying this stuff. It's like,
scientists.
make
Yeah.
that make sense. Yeah. The biologists, the scientists, um, those that study viruses, virologists, I think they're called. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that that was the only good thing that came out of the pandemic. It got Biden elected as president because
Yep.
people were freaked out by that point.
Yep. Yep.
And within 3 months, they had a vaccine out
Everything.
and available to the public. You could go get it anywhere at any
Well,
time. And and suddenly, the numbers started going back down. And it probably would have gone down faster, but the right was able to convince their people that wearing a mask was stupid. It didn't do any good.
I know. It was a sign of weakness.
Right. But if you look at that first year, the the normal regular flu statistics that people get every year and or die from every year were like astronomically low. They couldn't get over the
Yeah.
difference. And it was like, well, yeah, everybody's wearing a
Exactly.
mask. They're
With
washing their
mask.
hands before they do anything, or they're wearing gloves if they have to handle stuff, publicly.
I know.
And I said, it makes a difference.
It makes a big difference.
Hi, Irish Rockwood. That's a new name. Welcome. Hi, Denise. Hi, Moonstone Girl. And Northern Virginia. Oh my God, Daniel, y'all must be freezing your butts off. The Moonstone Girls in Michigan. Brr. They got snow up in that area. It is cold up there. Hell, it's cold down here, and it's like, it's like, yeah, I don't like cold weather.
No.
It makes everything hurt.
You
So, what
and
are
your
some other
head?
things that you saw? No, in my back and my neck and stuff. When the
Oh,
weather gets
yes.
cold and or when the humidity gets high, it just like everything seizes up, and just to move becomes painful. And something I have to live with now for the rest of my life. But
Yeah. Well, another thing that's on the video I have on the channel is some positive. I'm trying to give also some positive news because a lot of it is challenging, but kind of staying on the topic of health, I see like real progress in some of the treatments for Alzheimer's or cancer, even. I really do feel that there will be significant, I mean, there's always progress, so that's not a psychic prediction, but what is different is a real step up in terms of those diseases. Something that I saw, and it's been 2 years in the making, so I give this prediction every year because I feel that there's going to be a big breakthrough in animal communication. So the
Oh,
way that we
awesome.
can actually, yes, that is like having some sort of way to communicate with animal, which we already do, obviously. Anyone who has a pet, you know that emotions and they can hear, they can, but I'm talking kind of next level ability to communicate, particularly from them to us. And
Yeah,
so
I mean,
that I think will come with uh, AI, like they compile a bunch of
well, yeah, because you already have
behavior.
dogs and cats that have those computer
Yes,
buttons they can step on the floor to say, I want to go out, or I'm hungry, or pet me, or, that. And it's amazing. It's like, I don't know if the animal actually understands the words that they're pressing on, or if they just
I don't
figure
know
out if
how that
I press
works.
this button, then I'm going to get more food. If I press this
Yeah,
button, then they're going to come and love on me for a little bit. So, I mean, they're making that correlation with the right button to step on, but I don't know if they actually understand what the words are, what they're.
yeah. So I don't know how that's gonna work, but I think it will be game changing, like ability to communicate more with our our pets. So yeah, that I think is a big, big step. That those are kind of like two important positive predictions that I have in there, um, that I feel.
Okay, I'm trying. I I keep, and this is like just now hitting me, so it's like I'm getting a download. Um, I keep hearing, uh, put money away, like start stashing money, not in the bank,
Money.
like in your house. It's find a
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
buy a little home safe, or find some place
Oh,
where you can keep
yeah.
your cash and your valuables at home, because they're saying issues with the banks.
Well,
So,
that would
I
make
don't know
sense
what that.
because
Yeah,
I think I would expect that there's going to be some real massive hacking from foreign sources, like hacking, and the ATM's network could be hacked. Um, and you're thinking maybe from Russia or, Iran or, other entities that are able to hack. And
yeah,
I feel that yes, there was already, I forgot, I heard about a big hack recently, like in the last couple of days, that was really, shutting down the ability to, yes, like for example, going to an ATM because the network is hacked, or the hospital network is hacked, or, government
yeah.
agencies are hacked. And so then, yeah, you can't get cash if that's the case because you can't get to an ATM or the internet network.
When it
Someone
comes to
mentioned,
medications, I
yes,
got that a couple weeks
yes,
back. I
yes,
was doing a question, and it just hit
exactly.
me. Make sure you start stockpiling on important medications. Like if you take
Yep,
prescription medications, if you can trim down some of your stuff and start stockpiling the extra,
yep.
because who knows what's going to happen. And with him wanting to put people like RFK Jr. and Dr. Oz in control of our medical decisions,
Mm,
it's like, okay, two science deniers who want to believe in the most off the wall nonsense that I've ever heard. And they don't want to accept what scientists are telling them is happening or will
no.
happen. And it's like, we need to prepare for that. Of the that was one of the messages that I
Yeah,
was, not just stockpiling some money, keep cash on hand,
that's why
get debt
medication,
free.
everything.
That's the next thing I just heard. Get debt free. Get out from debt. If you
Hmm.
owe money on something, pay it off if you can. But get out from under debt and then start stockpiling your money. Because if things get really crazy, what if we can't go to the bank and withdraw $20 to put gas in the car or get milk and bread to feed your
Well,
kids?
and even aside from hacking, like if you have like a storm or the power grid off or anything like this, an earthquake or whatnot, then you can't access the $20 you need at the ATM. And someone, I think it's J Cat lady, mentioned China hacked the feds last week. Yeah, that was something
Yeah,
really big. And it was
something.
not mentioned very well, but yeah, they hacked the feds.
Yeah. Of course, as most of y'all know, I mean, I work at a university in the
Yeah,
computer science department. So most of my faculty are also researchers and have big contracts with government agencies and military agencies and private research agencies where they're conducting all of this research for them. And I know there's a couple of them, their specialty is in cybersecurity. And when I first started working there, of course, that was 12 years ago when I first started working there. Um, One of the faculty had stopped by the office and he said, "Oh," he said, "just a word to the wise. You know those little surveys that Facebook and stuff is always popping up on?"
yeah, yep.
And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Don't fill them out."
No,
I went, "Why not?" He said, "Because they're mining your information. And the more information you give them, the more they can go in and look at everything you have and mess with it or take it or shut it down on you." Or he said, "We don't know what's going to happen in the future." He said, "But don't do those anymore." I was like,
don't, no,
"Oh, okay." So, yeah, I don't do those little things anymore. Um,
no. That's I know someone, a friend of mine, like she was telling me, oh, someone, hacked my bank account and I don't know what happened. And then she realized this was coming from a survey she answered on Facebook, one of those games. And that
Hell,
allowed
well,
someone to get through. So, yeah,
my Cajun cousin, and I actually did a reading for her last week, was it, Eileen? Last week, week before last. It was so great to use somebody that kind of understood my way of thinking. And she's Cajun too. So that was kind of cool. Very, very, very nice lady. And Suki's hoping for snow so school will get canceled. Yeah, we get rain days where we get canceled because it rains so hard in such a short amount of time that everything floods. Because down here we're at sea level or below, depending on where you're at in the state. So
yeah,
um, it's yeah, I can't imagine snow days. Um, yeah, level up lady like Nate was saying, problems with the banks,
yep,
problems. I mean, stop and think about it. I do everything online. I check my bank online. I pay my
yeah.
bills online. The only thing I don't pay online is my rent, and I write a physical check for it
Go check.
and bring it to them because then I have proof that I paid rent that month. And but that's the only thing that I pay that I actually have a written proof that I've paid it. I mean, not like I would accuse them of messing up, but I mean, if somebody gets in and starts hacking computers, there's no telling what kind of information they're gonna. We've seen that already, where whole cities and
Of
towns
course.
have been hacked, and they've shut down hospitals, they've shut down
Yes.
pharmacies, they've shut down police departments, and nobody can function, and they can't get the information back that they need for like their patients or something.
It's
unless
terrible.
they pay a ransom. And even then, there's no guarantee
Yes.
you're going to get your information. And it's like with this Bitcoin stuff. I mean,
Oh,
I realize we're going in the direction of one day having no money and everything will be done electronically. I get that. But it makes me real nervous when you have all of these independent contacts that are creating all of this revenue to go back and forth digitally where you have no proof of anything. I remember when
no.
Bitcoin first came out, and there was something like if you could put your computer at a special website and you would just leave it on and running there every day, and for every so many minutes it would drop another coin into your wallet.
Yes.
And because several of my son's friends were doing that, and I know one of them had gotten like millions of bitcoins that he had like two computers working on it. He was a computer nerd. Then they up and wiped it out, took everybody's money, so to speak. Because you were paying in money for that Bitcoin to do
Oh,
certain things, but it was like I was like, yeah, okay, I'm not doing that.
no, 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 no. I hear about those, but it feels very scammy, like where the bitcoins accumulate, where that money accumulates for free. That doesn't
Yeah,
pass the test.
I mean that's like, well, we need more money. We'll just go print some. That doesn't answer the
Yeah,
question. I mean, all you're going to do is make inflation go up, and everything going to cost
yeah.
more money. Um, oh, interesting question, Irish. Yeah, I got that starred. Um, yeah, I mean, we had uh, a temporary director at school several years back who was from China. Brilliant man. Um, and he came into the department. He was like the new boss. And the first thing he wanted our IT techs to do was to set up his home computer into the networking system of the university
Ooh,
to run his home computer through without getting anything approved from the
that
security
can't
department in
be.
IT.
No.
And three different IT guys that we had come through at that time when he was there refused to do it. They were like, no, I can't do that. It's illegal. You know, I have to go through protocol, with the IT department before my son was one of them because he was hired for a short time to do IT work in our department. Before, after a few months, he was like, yeah, this is not what I want to do. And he
Yeah.
quit. I'm like, hey, you got to follow. If you hate it that bad, then you hate it that bad. Um, think about medications. I mean, in a hospital situation, it's nothing to go in and hack somebody's records and say that they're allergic to something or that they're not allergic to something. Doctors and nurses look at their chart and say, oh, no, I don't know why I thought this patient was allergic. This patient isn't allergic. So they give them medication that could kill them because they're
Of
allergic to it.
course.
I mean, that kind of crap, that's scary.
It is.
I know Malcolm Nance, who is a retired uh, CIA intelligence operative. He was in the military, in the Navy, and he wrote several books on Putin and other actors across the world that were desperately hacking into all of our systems to where they could come in and shut down the water supply over here or shut off the power over there.
Hmm.
And what have we seen Elon Musk do this past year? He turned off Starlink when Ukraine was in the middle
Yeah.
of an attack on
Yep.
Russia to fight back. and it turned off all their drones. They couldn't control their drones because
No.
he turned their internet off. Um, and he's done it in other places, in other countries, and can do it. God, I hate to think about
I
what all he's got access to right now that he could wreak havoc
Well,
on.
I am concerned about Starlink. I feel like if all our conversations and data go to Starlink, this is very scary to have him able to access
Yeah, or to
all
know that
of.
your phone that sits right there with you is, even when it's off, is recording everything you say.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you
Like
can have a
if you
discussion
use,
with somebody, and the next day
yes,
you're getting ads pop up on your phone for
yep,
the items you were talking about. Like,
I know.
yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know if you have like the WhatsApp app. It
I don't
does
have
have
WhatsApp.
what? Well, it does listen to
Well,
you.
actually, I do have a WhatsApp because you need it through the YouTube thing
Oh,
for
I didn't
whatever
know that.
reason. I don't know why.
Okay. But
It
yeah,
was
and
one of the
WhatsApp,
programs that you could sign up
yeah,
for with
sign up.
YouTube.
And
Um,
WhatsApp can listen to you, like can absolutely listen to you. Like the
Siri,
Amazon
Alexa,
Alexa, yes,
yeah,
Alexa. And
it's
they
it,
take whatever the conversations are in the home and then they send it to whoever.
yeah. Either it's going in a database somewhere. Um, I don't know how many people watch the Die Hard movies, but not the last one, but the one before it, where it like took place, I think, at the 4th of July or something like that. But hackers broke into the government system and literally shut everything down. And it was he and this kid who was a computer hacker who had been duped into helping these people. He didn't know
Yeah.
what they were up to. They're running around trying to stop things from happening because they were like turning off gas lines and then redirecting them to an area that would be highly combustible if they sent gas through those lines, and they were shutting off water lines and I don't know what all, but I remember when I saw that movie and I just sat and watched it, I thought, damn, that could happen any day now. I mean,
It could.
it's scary to think about. And I didn't realize how close we are to that level of losing control until I started working in computer science. I don't know
Mm,
diddly about computers. I know spreadsheets. That's all I know. As far as how a computer runs, I don't have a clue. I turn it
yeah.
off, I turn it on. That's as far as I can get. If it doesn't work, I unplug it. I will count to 10. I plug it back in. If that didn't fix it, then I'm hollering for my son, come fix the computer. So, but to know that there are things happening on a level that just blows my mind,
Yeah.
because I see them doing research on stuff. And it's like I can't even say what it is they're doing research on because it's that protected. Um, but it just blows my mind, whenever I'm having to order things or, because I'm the purchasing person in our department. And
Hmm.
so when they need to order stuff, they have to go through me. And
Yeah.
I'm looking at this stuff going, what the hell is this? I don't know what this is. What do I need to get extra permission to buy this item? It costs $50,000. I can't just
Hmm.
run up the credit card. That
Hmm.
it's you know. So yeah, I mean, so there's a lot of little things like that that I
Hmm. Yeah.
know, but I don't know. It's like I know the
It's
outer
pretty
shell of it.
complicated. Yeah.
It's very complicated, a lot more so than I realized. Until a couple of my faculty that I just made friends with, who would, when I would ask them a question about it, they would go into teacher mode and start explaining it to me. And I'm like,
Explain.
okay, you lost me at the second sentence. Back up. Let's go to kindergarten level and start again. And then they laugh at me. Uh, but yeah, I don't know what this 3 day of darkness stuff is. Um, there are people convinced that it's in the Bible. I've never read that in the Bible. And I've read both the Catholic Bible and the Protestant Bible, both. I used to be a member of that
I don't
cult
believe in it.
and
I
studied
don't
it.
believe.
And I I have never heard, the only days of darkness I ever heard was during Revelation times. And I don't know if I ever believed in that even when I was in that cult. It just seemed a little far fetched to me, Just people are just gonna disappear, I mean,
They were
that's
already
something our
talking about the
ET,
3 days.
that's something.
Yeah, they were
Yeah,
already
there's
talking
these
about the three
videos
days
going
of
around.
darkness like years ago, and it
Oh,
keeps
it's
coming,
been,
and nothing ever happens.
I'm talking 30, 35 years ago. I remember people talking about that in church. And
It
it
keeps
was to
coming.
scare people. It's a fear
Yeah,
tactic.
tactic.
And now you've got these videos that are coming out where these
Oh,
supposed psychic people are seeing this 3 days of dark. I've watched several videos on it because kept getting asked questions about it.
I know.
And I was like, this is the biggest bunch of bunk I've ever heard in my life. It's like, yeah, no, that's not happening. I mean, my guides were like, what are you watching? Turn that off. um, they can get very testy sometimes. Oh, my son just dropped a video. Cool. Um, but yeah, he's been practicing the song White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane. Came out in the 60s.
I don't know it.
Very popular.
Okay.
It's a song that sounds like it's talking about Alice in Wonderland, but they're using that premise of the song to talk about something else
Mm.
from back in the day then when people didn't discuss drugs openly. It was a
Yep.
no-no. Um, but anyway, he's been working on it. He liked the tune, and I see he's finally released it. It just popped up on my feed, and I'm like, oh, okay, I have to go listen again. I've only heard him play it a zillion times. In the past 2 weeks, it's like the the first couple of times I heard him playing it, I was sitting out on the patio, and he came out, and I went, "Are you playing Jefferson Airplane in there?" He started laughing. He says, "No, that's me." I'm like, "Oh, okay," because I knew the song, and but so yeah, y'all check out Shorty Beard. He just dropped a new song. Um, that's my son's handle online. Uh, and for the music y'all heard at the beginning of the show,
Oh
the
yeah.
Mardi Gras music, that's Julian Primo is his name.
Oh,
He's a local artist here in town. Lovely, lovely young man. He's friends with my son. He just got inducted into the Louisiana Music Hall of Fame.
wow.
And he's only like around 41, 42, something like that. So he's fairly young for such
Great.
a prestigious thing. But he is a phenomenal, uh, when he gets out and performs, he
Hmm.
blows my socks off. But I got to meet him several times, of course, through my son. And when I heard that song from him, I emailed him and I said, Julian, please, 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 can I use your song for my channel? He's like, yeah, sure, go ahead. I'm like, yay. Because some people are funny about that. They don't want you using their music. Um, or they want you to pay an exorbitant fee if you use their music.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, y'all, I mean, get out of debt, start keeping a stash of cash at home, you know, at least a couple $100, enough to get you through a week
Get
or
some
two
gas.
to get gas or to buy milk and bread if you can even
Yep.
find it, or toilet paper if you can even find it. That's another thing. Maybe start stocking up on toilet paper. That's what they did for the pandemic. Everybody went nuts.
I know.
Stocking up on toilet paper. It was like, how come I can't find a damn roll of toilet paper in the store? or paper towels, either one.
I
And
know. It was limited to one per person when you could get it. They were
and the
checking, making
price is
sure you
like
get
triple.
one. Yeah.
I buy like the big pack of paper towels. I mean, we got 4 people, 2 dogs, a cat, and a lizard that lives in this house. I go through some paper towels, or I would be doing laundry every day. The paper towels are cheaper, especially with the dogs, because the big dog gets excited and has accidents. The little dog is old and no longer has bladder control and has accidents.
Oh,
He'll be like bark at you to take him out, and before you can get up and take him to the door to
already
put
too
his
late.
harness on him, he's already peed. He can't hold it anymore. And so he'll go drink water in his bowl and turn around and 10 steps away, he's peeing. He can't. Tried to do the doggy
Oh, poor
diapers,
thing.
he won't leave them on. So I was like, okay, well,
Oh,
that didn't work. um, so I have a pretty good stock of paper towels. In fact, I'm down to my last roll. I was just thinking earlier, I gotta go run to the store and get paper towels. But I buy the big packs, the Bounty. Um, it's like equivalent to 36 rolls. I think it's 15
wow.
rolls or something you get, but it's like the big double or triple rolls. And it's supposed to equal like 36 rolls of regular size rolls of paper towels. And I buy those usually, we usually go through a big pack like that about every week and a half, which is crazy when you think about it. But it's like we don't eat off of regular plates in my house. We eat off of paper plates because I'm not doing all them dishes. It's like use a paper plate, you throw it away when you're done.
Yeah.
Because I've yet to be able to teach any of them how to rinse and stack their dirty dishes. That concept is just beyond their abilities. Um, yeah, so I mean, if you take prescription medications, if you can stockpile them, stockpile them. If you have cash that you can stash, do that. And don't tell anybody where you put it or that you're even doing it
No.
because you don't want to get robbed. Um, I mean, just that was some of the messages that I've gotten. Is there anything else you've gotten that
In terms of what people can do, well, another thing that I'm getting is, there's definitely some moments in 2025 this year where the economy will suffer and there's going to be impacts on the real estate market. So, not the time, in my opinion, to buy a home because the price are
no?
going to come down. Not the time to get an expensive rent. Not the time because those prices, that's good, are going to come down. And so
Yeah.
if you are in the process of thinking of, either buying or getting into a more expensive place, wait. I would suggest to wait because with the
Yeah, especially if
tariffs,
your home is
the
paid off.
economy, yes, you're gonna see that, we're gonna get back to some inflation. We're gonna see issues
Hi,
within the
Marby.
stock market and the banks, and I really feel that the real estate market will come down. So wait, like really wait. Don't make a big, even getting a car, I would wait because we need to
Yeah.
see
I
the
mean,
administration come through and
think
see the impact. Yes,
think about it. You go buy a brand new car. What's the first thing that happens? The minute you drive it off the lot, it loses half its value
value.
instantly. And that's just from an insurance perspective. And
If
I know this because I've had friends that's what they do is insurance.
yeah,
And so, they explained it to me. I mean, if your car is still good and still running and is paid for, hold on
keep
to
it.
it. Keep it, keep the oil changed, check your tires regularly,
Yes,
put new tires on it if you think they need it, and take care of what you've already got. That's something that I
yep.
think my my grandmother and great grandmother who grew up during the depression in the 20s and 30s, that they learned how to make things last a long time.
Yes.
And I know I have stuff that is like I have an old Singer sewing machine that's in the big
Yep.
cabinet with the pedal thingy to make it turn.
Mhm. Mhm.
It was my great grandmother's. That's how old it is. It's older than me. And I don't have the machine hooked up or anything because it needs parts, but it's like if I had to have something like that to function, fix that and do it
Yeah.
the old fashioned way. If you've got the time and or means, learn how to can stuff.
Yep.
Start canning preserves or figs or whatever. Starts you can can tomatoes and all kinds of stuff that you can do that our grandparents and great grandparents did. Um, I mean, I can remember my grandmother with a countertop full of mason jars
Yep.
as she was canning preserves, all day cooking at the stove and doing all that stuff to fill up those jars. And then they would, whatever the process was, I can remember having to cut little squares of wax paper that went over the top of them with a rubber band around them
Yep.
before she
And
even put a lid on.
sterilize the. Yep.
Right. And I mean, it's if you can grow a little small garden, if you live somewhere where you have a yard, start growing your own veggies. I mean, at least like your herbs and your, spices,
Yeah.
tomatoes, cucumbers,
Potatoes.
basil, oregano, potatoes if you have the space.
Yep.
If not, do a little organic garden in your house. You can buy
Yep.
kits where you can grow that
Yep.
stuff in your house, and you can actually get a
Indoor.
lamp, a growth lamp.
Yep.
People that smoke weed been doing it for years, so go to your
That's
local
not
weed
new.
dealer and find
Yes.
out where do you get your supplies. Because in most places it's legal now, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Um, oh, that's an interesting question. Daniel asked, does a Hopi prophecy hold any truth? I would say yes, but that's because I'm part Native American.
And
And I've
I'm not
always felt
familiar
like
with it, Sherry. I'm not familiar with it.
there, it, according to the Hopis, there are different levels of mankind. And it's like we started out at one level, we've gone to the next level, we've gone to the next level, and then there's a prophecy that a blue star will come and it will create ascension, I guess would be the best way to put it,
Mm-hmm.
for the
Mm-hmm.
people here. And part of the prophecy talks about the great spider web that covers the globe. Well, what's the internet but a big spider web? It's
Web.
got us all connected, right? Uh, and it's been a long time since I've read all of it, but there are other things in it that, according to what their medicine men saw eons ago, has it's like several levels of this prophecy have already come true. It's already happened. And so now
Wow.
there's like a couple of levels yet left. And a lot of people are paying attention now and they're like, oh my God,
It's
is that
happening.
going to happen? I don't think it's going to happen tomorrow, but maybe 50, 100 years from now that's possible.
Yep.
I mean, it's as with any prophecy, old or new, you still have to take into consideration the recipient and their interpretation of what they're given.
Mm-hmm.
Nate and I were talking about that before the show, that
Yep.
it's very easy to misinterpret information you get either because your brain can't conceive what it is you're getting, or it just can't compute the information that's coming in, or you immediately attach it to something that it has nothing to do with.
Yeah. Or maybe something you can't comprehend that hasn't happened yet, and your mind cannot
Right.
comprehend it. It's too big of a deal.
Well, it's just like when you look at Egyptian hieroglyphics in the Great
Hmm.
Pyramids,
Hmm.
and there are pictures of their gods and some of their star people that shows, human beings in these spacesuits. That's the only thing you could describe what it looks like, is that they've
Wow.
got a spacesuit on, with the helmet thing going around, and floating ships in the sky and whatnot. It's like,
Wow.
okay, so was that actually there at the time? Was this what they were
More a
prophesying would be
yeah,
coming?
or
Um,
dreams. Yeah.
Dream state. I mean, we get a lot of things in our dreams, and I'm not a dream person. There are readers on YouTube that are very adept at dream sequences and
Interpret.
helping you understand what it is you're dreaming, what the message might be. Allie from Heart Centered, from Heart and Soul Connected. Um, she does a dream show, I think weekly, with
Oh.
several of the mediums that they do dream interpretation for people who, will either send them information before the show or during the show, on dreams that they have,
Mm.
um, which is really intriguing to me because I don't remember my dreams, or it's very
Same.
rarely that I remember my
Same.
dreams. And usually by the time I wake up enough to get up to go to the bathroom, it's gone. So
I'm the
it
same. I
just,
don't remember maybe once or twice a year to that effect that I remember, but
yeah, once in a blue moon, I'll remember a dream. And I even keep a little journal by the bed because, everybody tell me, well, keep a dream journal by the bed. And
yeah.
then when you wake up, write down what you were dreaming of. And it's like, by the time I wake up, it's gone.
Yeah.
I said, because I hit the snooze at least 3 times. That's why I set my alarm so much earlier than when I actually have to get up, because I know I'm going to hit the snooze button.
Yeah.
And because I'm just not a morning person, it's hard to get up in the morning for me. Um,
And you're getting jobs that start early. I know you mentioned that to me one time. That even though you're
yeah, I
not a
mean,
morning person, the job you've been having have been
every
more
job
likely morning.
I've
Yeah.
ever been in, I've always had to be there at the crack of dawn. It's
Mm-mm.
like I can't find a nighttime job. Um, but yeah, it makes it difficult because, like I said, I literally get everything ready the night before. I'll have my clothes laid out and ready for the night
Yeah.
before. I'll have my lunch made and in the fridge, and all I have to do is put it in my lunch bag in the morning. I have everything ready so that in the morning, all I have to do is get up, put on my makeup, get dressed, and I'm ready to go because everything's already packed up and ready. And which, I've had people say, God, you're so organized. I'm like, no, I just don't want to be an hour late every day. I said, because if I had to
Yeah.
do all this stuff in the morning, it would take me forever. Um, so, okay, I'm hearing him whine and I don't know where he is. Um, the little dog, or Dorky. He's somewhere nearby and he's whining. It's driving me crazy. Um, oh, now that's interesting. Susie Zuki said back in '79, that's the year I graduated high school, there were photos of kids with plastic threads oozing out of their skin. Oh, interesting. I don't remember ever seeing or reading about that. Um,
So they
hey,
had
hippie.
photos of kids, yeah, with thread coming out of their skin.
Yeah, I guess it's like because the Hopis they did like petroglyphs, hieroglyphics type
Oh, yeah.
drawings on the cave walls where they lived. So um, and it's very rudimentary style uh, drawing. I mean, they weren't Michelangelo, that's for damn sure. And I don't think they really cared if they were or not. You know, they just drew basic figures, but I know there were also snake figures and spider figures and
Hmm.
spider webs that would cover everybody. And of course, most of us, once the internet took hold, it was like, well, there's your spider web right there because it's everywhere. And it's, you know, you think
Yep.
about it, it's crisscross lines all across the world. That's interesting. I don't remember seeing that, Susie. I'll have to look into that. Um, Here's something interesting. Rose said that she woke up the other New Year's Day with 11:11 on her phone. Yesterday it was 11:01 on my phone. Is there a message for that?
Well, the 111 are angel numbers.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, well, one, you're dealing with angel
Yeah.
numbers here.
Well,
Um,
and with the
11:11
one,
is a
usually
yeah,
dealing with new beginnings, the one being for new things or angels behind you so that you can do, new things this year, particularly on the New Year's Day. Number one is very telling of that's your first number. So what is it
yeah,
that you need to start doing is, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, because I know I have a deck of cards that's angel numbers. So
Mm,
it's like all the numbers, and then you can just shuffle and pull somebody a number. Um, and it's really interesting. You know, when I first got it, I sat down and went through all the numbers. It was like, wow, this is really interesting. You know, and it's and numerologically speaking.
mhm.
And I don't know if Deborah's still in the chat. She's the numerology expert that I know. Um, I had always thought that whatever double or triple digit number you had, you automatically convert it down to just a one number. But
Number,
evidently, there are some numbers that come out dual, like 11,
yeah,
you know,
22,
33,
yeah, yeah,
22, double zero, and what, and you don't break those numbers down because those
no,
are specific angel numbers. And so I'm not
hmm,
really
hmm.
understanding the difference of that. Um, I
Yeah,
think
I
I got
think
a
they
book
call them
about it somewhere,
master,
but
ma, yeah, master
master
numbers,
numbers, yes,
Yep,
yes.
yep, yep.
But I honestly couldn't tell anybody about it. It's like a doo doo. I'm afraid I don't know that one. Let me see. We had some questions here. Uh, Steve Myers had a question. I know you weren't really doing political questions, but
Oh, fine.
we kind of already traversed some of that, so I
Yes.
figured we could throw a few in there. I mean, I still see her getting inaugurated.
Oh, you do?
And I still, when I read and when I get visions on it, I still see her being inaugurated. But logically, my brain is like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. You know? And so
Okay.
it's a quandary for me because it's like, logically, I'm looking at this saying, no, they're going to inaugurate Trump. He's going to take office. God knows how long he's going to actually be in office before they Amendment 25 his ass and get him out and let JD Vance take over. But it's I still keep getting Kamala as being the president. Now, I know Linda G and I talked about this yesterday a little bit because we talked. And she said, she says, I keep thinking about that too because she's getting the same thing. And she said, maybe we just got the timeline wrong and it's going to happen, but it's maybe the next
At a
election.
different time. Yeah.
And I said, that's, I said, I started coming around to that when I just kept getting it over and over and over again. And I don't see Trump staying in very long. I keep
Mm.
getting that he's going to be hasta la vista before, you know, before the first year is out. So I don't know if they're going to just figure out a way to boot him out and let JD Vance take over as president, or if he's going to just medically have issues that are going to stop him from
Mm-hmm.
continuing on. I don't know. I mean, I do believe they cheated. I've seen a lot of the proof that they're coming up with.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe.
Uh,
I feel like he will be inaugurated. I'm not happy with that, but I feel like he will be, and see him staying. Maybe not the 5 years, but couple years. Yeah. But we'll see. We don't know. There's so much in
yeah,
the background that I think is, yes, there's a lot in the background that will surprise us. Like I'm feeling that was part of the video as well. Like I feel, even though I see him inaugurated, the work to prove the election interference will continue. That will continue.
yeah, and it is not just here. That's worldwide because there are countries around the globe that
Yes.
have all been attacked by this same right
Hackers.
wing
Yes.
ideology, and where governments are toppling that were democratic or democratic-ish, that are now suddenly turning into harsh dictatorships. And it's kind of scary when you really sit down and
Yep.
start looking at. I mean, I saw somebody, one of the pundits, the other day talking about it. And they literally like ran a list of countries that have all where their government is more or less kind of toppled in the past couple of years to this right wing
Uh-huh.
ideology that's going on. And it was really frightening to get to look at it and think, oh my God, there's not many democratic societies left. And
No.
uh, it was uh, not Syria, but there was the country recently that they tried to pull that shenanigans, and the people in the government already in control said, no, we're going to have another election, throw everything
Yep.
out.
Yeah. I think it was in Eastern Europe. They're redoing the
Yeah,
election.
it was one of the Eastern Europe
In Europe. Yeah.
countries. I can never
Romania,
remember what
maybe.
country
I
it
could
was.
be wrong. Maybe it's
I think it was
Romania.
Romania. I think it
Yeah.
was Romania, or maybe it was Slovenia, or Slovakia, or I don't know. I can't tell the difference anymore. Romania.
Romania. Yeah.
Thank you,
Yep.
Don.
Yep.
Thank you, Daniel. Um,
Yep.
oh, hi,
And they're
Ginger. I
redoing
didn't
it.
see you there. And
Yeah, and they're redoing it. So,
yeah,
I mean, that could still be happening if it's proven, obviously, but it's so hard. I mean,
well, it's just like what was it, about 6 months ago when I one of the first visions that I got. Visions was my mother's gift. She would get visions,
mhm.
and she hated it because she would get visions of people dying. If it was like a
Oh,
traumatic death, she would see it before it happened, and then would have to keep it to herself. She was always told, "Do not interfere. Just be aware of
yep,
what's happening." Um, and she hated it, and I think that's why she never discussed the abilities when I was growing up, because
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes I think, well, maybe she felt like if she just pretended they didn't exist, then they wouldn't develop in me.
No, but that
That doesn't work.
doesn't work like that. No.
I mean, I kept them hidden and stuffed in the closet for a long time, but
Yeah.
eventually they busted through the door and said, no, we're here now. Um, but I got my first full on vision about 6 months ago, I guess. And I
Mm.
saw William being coronated as king.
Oh.
And it
Yeah.
was like
I could see that.
the full coronation. And it was so strong and so powerful. But it wasn't like a happy thing.
Oh.
So I don't know if that means that King Charles has passed
Charles.
or if his health just got so bad that he steps down for William to take over. I don't know. They didn't tell me which scenario,
Scenario.
but it was like I saw it happening to William and I saw him accepting that mantle of responsibility. He spent his whole life preparing for it. He's known that he was going to be king one day. Um,
Yeah.
and but it wasn't like a happy, joyous coronation.
No, it was
But
sad.
somber and
Yeah.
kind of sad. And so I don't, part of me is thinking, well, if he's somber and sad, maybe that means that the king has passed. But then I think, well, maybe he just steps down
And that would be sad
because the
too, I
cancer,
think. Yeah.
yeah, because he spent his whole life waiting for the throne. And how fair is it? He finally gets the throne, and then boom, he gets cancer. It's like, okay, y'all being mean to Charles. And I don't
No.
really keep up with that stuff. I don't keep up with the monarchy or any of that crap. I know who these people are because they're in People magazine and stuff, so I
Yes.
see stuff. Um, and I know that they've just had a really scary year with King Charles got cancer. And then it was released that
Oh, I
Princess
know.
Catherine
Catherine.
has cancer
Answer.
and she appears to be doing really well. And she's through with her chemo. I read that much. And she's just, I don't know, everything about that woman just makes me feel like if I was in her presence, I would just be enveloped in warmth.
Mm-hmm.
Just this very nurturing
Mm-hmm.
shell
Mm-hmm.
around her, where just, and it's like when she's laughing and happy and doing things, you can feel her happiness coming off of her. Just like when she's sad or upset, you can feel that coming off of her too. And it's only been in the past year that I've really even paid any attention to any of these
Yeah.
people. And it was because, the cancer diagnosis and stuff. And so it was like, yeah, that's wild. I don't know.
I feel that the queen on the other side has been with her, helping her get through
Oh
the
yeah.
challenge. Yeah,
And
very,
I know
very
that
much.
I know that Princess Anne, the Queen's sister,
Yeah.
has been very close to her and helped her all along.
Mm.
And I just read an article the other day that a lot of people were remarking about the fact that Princess Anne has taken Catherine and William's daughter. I can't think of her name right now. Charlotte. Charlotte. She's like taken her under her wing of how to be the Princess Royale
Oh.
as the sister to the king. Because George will be king one day.
Yep.
He's
Yep.
firstborn. Unless he abdicates, in which case she'll be the queen and will be
Yep.
like Elizabeth and have to step in. Um, and so it really struck me that this woman who has spent her whole life in her sister's shadow because her sister was queen, but she accepted those duties and
Mm-hmm.
responsibilities gracefully And from what little bit, that I've seen over the years, but it really made me feel good when I read that she's taken little Charlotte under her wing
Hmm.
to teach her the importance of her position and the responsibility she's going to have with that position and the way to behave in certain situations. It's like, that's kind of cool. I mean, I'm not really big in monarchies, and as far as I'm concerned, they should probably do away with all of it. But I
Yep.
know that the idea of having a king, a queen, and all that crap
Well, yeah.
brings money into Great Britain. It's
You
like a
know,
tourist thing
yeah.
now.
You might have heard, the city of Valence in Spain with the terrible floodings. I don't know if you've
Yeah,
seen
I've been hearing
photographs.
about really bad
It was
floodings.
really, really, really bad. And what is interesting is, I think is the whoever's in charge of Spain, I don't think not there's no president. I think it's the prime minister. Not sure, but
Yeah,
went
something like.
to
Don't they
the
have a
area.
king? Don't they have
Yes,
a king in
it's
Spain?
actually
Okay.
my point is that
Oh,
when the more politician person came through and didn't really deal well with the pain and suffering of the population, the king and the queens came after, and they were there for
oh,
the people, and they had to face very upset people. They were those people were desperate. They had no water, no, I mean, it was terrible.
oh my
And
goodness.
they were even, throwing mud at them, and the king and the queen, they really pushed through to be there. And it's almost like it changed a lot of the view of, you know when the politicians are gone, the king and the queens are there for their people. That's kind of the impression that this
Yeah.
gave, you know.
Well, now I know something I've read this past year when Charles became king, that William became Prince of Wales, which
Hmm.
means that he gets that vestiture. He's
Yeah.
responsible for that. He gets the money for that, which makes him a very wealthy young man. Um, and by billions and billions of dollars or pounds or whatever.
Yep.
But that he's taken a lot of his personal money that he inherited from his money that he inherited from the queen, money from the vestiges that he's got for the different titles that he has. And he's actually used it for good stuff by creating, he's in the process of building these homeless uh, communities for people who are homeless to have a
Mm.
home to live in that they can, if they can't afford it,
Temporary housing, and yep, yep.
not just temporary, but even permanent housing
Permanent. Okay, okay, yep.
to put these
Under a
people
roof.
in communities, like building neighborhoods, an entire neighborhood,
Mm.
and building these homes so there's a school for the kids to go to and a roof over their heads. And he's like really, really been strong about that. And so I was like, well, that's using your title and your money for good.
For a good cause. Yep, yep.
And at least he's trying to do something good for people. So that's yay. Yeah, that's wonderful.
Of course.
Um, so well, I don't have anything else. I think I've run out of steam. And I got to meet with Linda in 30 minutes. So you got to
Well,
be
thank
on
you
your
so much.
toes for that. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank y'all for joining us. I tried to shout out to everybody. I hope I didn't miss anyone. If I did, my apologies. It wasn't intentional. If you have personal questions, if you like a 101 card draw or something, tonight is the slumber party, 10 p.m. Central. New start time this week. We're backing up an hour. So, y'all know, come for the slumber party. That's an anything goes. Marina will be with me tonight, and you either get to pick an oracle card or a naughty card, depending on if you want
Oh.
it spicy or plain. I have some what they call naughty cards, that I literally have to run a sticker at the beginning of the show saying explicit language will be used. So if you don't want to see that, click off,
Not the time.
Uh,
Yep.
CYA is what it is. Cover your ass, right?
Yep. Yep. I
I don't want to
know.
get sued. But it's just a lot of fun. I mean, it's like an anything goes. We made it to a slumber party. The running gag is you got to wear your PJs, your
Yep.
pajamas, and whatnot. And it started out as a fluke, and then everybody started, you need to do this every weekend. So now I'm doing it every weekend, and I have a lot of fun with it. Some weeks it's just me, some weeks it's somebody comes on with me. So um, it's a lot of fun, and we do naughty or nice. That's how I ran it during Christmas with Santa Claus. Naughty or nice, which are you? And so, well, thank you, Nate, very much for coming on. Y'all
Thank you so much for
definitely
having me.
go to Nate's channel, subscribe, like, share, check out his video on his predictions. Hopefully, I'll get one done myself this week. Fingers crossed. And y'all
Thank you.
heard some of them today that I didn't even know I was
Yeah.
going to get. It just I'll have to go back and rewatch this so I can write it down because I don't remember what I said. But I know I said several things that, oh yeah, I
Yes.
just got hit. So and God only knows what's going to come out when I get with Linda. She tends to stir the juices up and get going, and I'll be like, oh, and
And
that's what we were doing yesterday. And but the video didn't do right, so we're doing a redo today. And so I don't want to keep her waiting. She just made 100,000 subscribers.
that's a lot. What an achievement.
Yeah, she got her silver play button from YouTube. They send you this big silver
Oh,
play button. It looks like the play button that you would push, and that you can hang up or set out on the table or something when you hit a
nice.
100,000. So we're all like, "Yo, go, Linda!" I think she's the first one in our community that's hit that number, and so I know told her that you worked hard for it, so ain't nobody, you know, take that away from you. You busted your butt. So
Hmm.
um, I'm still just pushing for 5,000. So hopefully I'll get there soon.
You will. You definitely
And
will.
and Nate and I'll gonna say goodbye, and then we're gonna set our next schedule, and I'll post it for you the next time. Because next time will be on your channel,
Yes.
and it'll
And I
either
have
be a
to think of
pre-recorded
what
or
we're
a
gonna
live.
do. Yep. Yep. Maybe
Yeah,
record. Yep.
yeah. We'll think of something. We
Yep.
always do. Something will be going on in the world that'll be like, oh
Oh,
my
for
god,
sure.
we got to talk about that. So, all right, y'all have a great afternoon. Enjoy your weekend. Come back tonight at 10 for the slumber party, and get a naughty or nice card. And you never know what you're going to get hit with. And thank you so
Thanks for
much for
having
coming
me.
and spending your. You're welcome. Thank you, Nathe, so much. I'm so glad Helen introduced us.
Yes. Thank you. It
And
was so good.
that was one of the best things. So it's like, oh wow, I really like you.
Thank you.
And fortunately,
Likewise.
you liked me back, and we just kind of meshed. So that's great.
Yes.
I, I did a thing with Helen the other day, and I was like, God, I miss just sitting and talking to you. She's like, Yeah, I know, me too. And so everybody's slowly starting to get back to normal. And that's okay, Joyce. You can do it a couple of days late. It doesn't have to be on the first day of the month. Blow cinnamon through your front door. You put like a teaspoon of cinnamon in your hand. You go step
Oh,
outside
yeah.
your front door, you open your front door, and then you say an abundance affirmation and you blow the cinnamon into your house. And if you have a back door, then you do the same thing, but you're standing inside the house and you blow the cinnamon out to remove all negativity.
Activity.
I just found that out the last time we talked about it on somebody's channel. I was like, oh, I didn't know you did one on the back door. I was like, I don't have a back door. What am I supposed to do? So, all right. Bye, y'all.